Do you want to hop up? Do you want to hop all the way up? Up you get then. Oh, there you go. That's good. Get all these pillows out of your way. You have to excuse the weird shaped backdrop. It's massive. It's hard to get it back into its circle shape. It's about this size. So it lives there now. But it's really good for photographing my products against. So here we are. We are 2 days after Key's appointment at the stem cell vet in Somerset. Sorry if you're going to just hear a steam engine this whole time. We've just come back from a walk where he was, well, a run off lead. Did you toot? So he's a bit puffy at the moment. It's not hot, not hot at all. It's currently 15 degrees, not very warm. He's just exercised. First of all, he's fine. We had our appointment. We got to the appointment, I think we were about 15, 20 minutes early for the appointment. Even though it was a 2-hour drive, and we set off 3 hours early, we were only 15 minutes actually early for the appointment. There was quite bad traffic getting out of the area and onto the A roads and motorway. You're right. We didn't go ahead with any treatment. We started off with consultation. Sorry, all this talking and Vicky, it's okay. Trying not to get slobbery fingers. There we go. So when we got there, I had to fill out a form. Not exactly sure what it was, like address and all those things. I can't really remember now. And then we had an hour's consultation where I went through all of his history. Pretty much covered everything there is to know about Key. All the things, the issues he's had, as well as just what he's like generally, like activity level and everything. You're such a puffer. I would have started this later, but I need to get this done this morning. So he's happy with his bickies. There you go. After the consultation, we went to the nurses to get his blood taken. He was such a good boy. He was. I didn't film the blood taking, obviously, because I needed both my hands to comfort him. I sort of supported him at the face end while one of the nurses held him on her lap. He basically sat in her lap, and then he hid his head against my chest, because if he doesn't like the look of something, he'll just hide from it, and quite often it's usually against my chest, which is adorable. He didn't wince, he didn't grumble, he didn't do anything. He was really good. While they shaved the leg, he's got a little bald patch on his left leg. So they took the blood. That was a pre-anaesthetic check blood, basically to check that he was okay to have the anaesthetic, because they checked the liver and the kidneys. I'm not sure if there's anything else to check. I've got your fluff on my nose. After the bloods were taken, the vet came back and she did her assessment of him, which is basically to check all of his joints, to see where the issues are, check his spine and everything. She discovered that his back right hip, so same leg as the bad wrist, his back right hip is a bit stiff. So we're going to try some laser therapy on his hip to see if we can make that a bit more comfortable, because I know his hydrotherapist does do that. And she couldn't find any arthritis in that bad wrist. So there was like she said there was no crepitus, no creaking or anything, full range of motion and everything. So the issue with his wrist is the carpal tunnel. There's no arthritis in there. And every time we've been to the vets, they've told us that the reason he's sore in that wrist, the reason he's gone lame for a little while, is because of arthritis. And then after I noticed the massive drop, I realised that maybe it was due to the carpal drop, and now having it confirmed that he doesn't actually have any arthritis in there, then it has been the carpal drop all the time. I'm sorry, you're about to get up, aren't you? There you go, it's a biggie. They also did a stance test, I think it's called that, where it's like a big scales that's been divided into 4 quadrants. and they have to stand with one paw in each quadrant. And I wish I'd taken a photograph of this, but I didn't. But it shows basically where they're putting their weight. I think she said, I've got it on the video, I think she said that they put 30% weight in the front and 20% weight in the back legs because of the way they carry themselves. Obviously he's got a really heavy chest, so more weight would be on the front. I don't know if that's the reason, but it seems logical to me. His back left leg, perfect almost. I think it was 19, so like 20, 19. His back right leg, where she had some difficulty manipulating it because he didn't like it. He was a bit grumbly when she was trying to move his limbs around. So it was hard to tell whether he was actually in pain or if he was just annoyed that she was trying to move him. Something over there made a sound. I don't know what it was. There's nothing over there to make a sound. So it makes sense that he wouldn't be putting as much weight on that leg. The front left leg is pretty close to being okay. It's putting a bit more weight on, obviously to compensate for wanting to put less weight on this one, the bad one. But that wasn't even that bad either. Not as bad as I would expect it to be for the carpal drop. So all in all, it made another sound. And another. I don't know what it is, monkey. Coming into spooky season, there's something over there making noises. Can't see it behind the ring light. He was a bit grumbly when Did you lose it? We found it. He was a bit grumbly when she was trying to manipulate his legs, and when she got to that hip, I think that was like one of the last bits she was doing. We can't tell whether or not he was just annoyed and wanted to be done with having his legs stretched back, because when they do the hip test, they have to pull the leg right back. I'm trying to demonstrate on me or him. I can't do either. And it can be a bit uncomfortable to do it, so we don't know whether it was actually painful, or whether he was just done with the assessment. But based on the stance test, it does show that he does have a bit of soreness in here. Could probably be arthritis, so a bit of laser treatment should help with that. So then we get on to the reason why we didn't go ahead with the treatment, and it was down to his blood test. So like I said, they test for the kidneys and the liver. I don't know if there's anything else that gets tested, but those are the two things I remember being pointed out. You shouldn't be looking at, monkey. That's naked. I've got the footage of her talking about it, so I can insert that if there is another element that the blood's checked for. She said his kidneys are perfectly fine, perfectly healthy, but one of the enzymes on his liver was slightly higher than it should be. So her parameters for a healthy, functioning liver, I think, was like 23 to 78, and his was 133, which I thought, that's scarily high. So I asked her what would be a really bad number, and she said 1,000. So that's way higher. And she said she'd start to be concerned and want further testing done at around 500. So 133 is not so bad there. And she went on to explain that the enzyme level could be high because of a fatty meal he'd eaten. He did have wild boar, I think, the night before, and you know, boar, pig, kind of a fatty meat. Slightly leaner than a pig, maybe, I think. But potentially it could just be that had caused the enzyme to be slightly too high. But the issue is that we don't know. Like, she couldn't tell me whether it was the start of liver failure or something else on the liver. And doing an anaesthetic, I'm sorry, I've only got one left. With doing the anaesthetic, that can accelerate issues. So if his liver was beginning to fail, it can accelerate it. And then I guess it could happen so fast you don't have time to do anything. She said it could be literally just an old liver because he's 10 years old. It could be a fatty meal. It could be something worse. Doing the anaesthetic could make it 10 times worse. So I didn't want to be the reason that a healthy boy like he suddenly had a really bad liver when we were doing something elective, because otherwise he's perfectly fine in himself. He moves around like crazy. You're going to get up now, aren't you? Because I ran out of bickies. I couldn't face doing something to him that could make him worse when he's perfectly fine. So what I will be doing is giving his leg a little rest, because I don't want to do it again too soon. But I'll take him to his regular vets to get liver tests done, because they can do all of that without any anaesthetic. They basically take another blood test. They can do a more in-depth analysis. You do one where you take blood and then you feed them something really fatty, which he'll love, and then you come back a few hours later and they test it again. And they can also do an ultrasound if he's happy enough to just lay there and them do an ultrasound, which I think he will. If it's a female vet, he'll be very happy to give his belly to her. He's a ladies' man after all. So if I can test his liver and it's all fine, then we could potentially go back. But now we get back to the 3 treatments. So there's the stem cells, the PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and the joint replacement fluid. The main reason we went there was for the carpal drop. And she said that if the carpal drop was due to calcification of the ligaments, which is where I've got key fluffs in my mouth, it's where like the ligaments calcify with bone when they get damaged, and it restricts movement and it can force a joint into a specific position. But when she manipulated his wrist, she realised that there was nothing in there, no calcification, no restricted movements. So she realised that the stem cells wouldn't do what we wanted it to do, which was to fix the drop, because it couldn't. And also the fact that he doesn't actually have all that much arthritis, which is good. It's good. The stem cells themselves just weren't the right treatment for him. They do last like up to 5 years, where they're continuing to, they don't fix arthritis, they don't make it go away, but they help to repair damage. The joint replacement fluid and the PRP, they kind of do in conjunction with each other, because I guess they work well together. Those are just used for treating arthritis. They do have a lifetime though. I think it's my light making that weird noise. They do have a cut-off, like, what's the word I'm looking for? They have a period where they work for, and then they... I'm sorry about that. That was a gross sound, Key. That was gross. They basically, they are a consumable in the joints, so they help to cushion. I really should have watched the videos back when I recorded the meeting. I don't have any left. They use the joint replacement fluid and the PRP up, so it's helping for a time, but then it kind of runs for up to 18 months. It can get used up sooner, depending on how active they are, how much the joints need those things, and then basically consume them and they're gone, and then you'd have to go back and do the same treatment again. So that, in a way, the stem cells are better because they last a lot longer. It wouldn't, for the cost of the treatment, $6,500, it's a lot of money for something that's not going to do the exact thing that we want it to do, which was to fix the carpal drop. The PRP and the joint replacement fluid, I was considering it. That's something I would have gone ahead with had his blood work been all fine. We would have... I felt so bad the whole time we were there. He was so thirsty, but he couldn't like have a big drink, because you can't have lots of fluid in your stomach if you're about to go under anaesthetic. So he sat in the waiting room and he was desperate for this bowl of water, and I couldn't give it to him. And after I decided that we're not going to go ahead because we can't risk this anaesthetic with his liver enzyme being slightly elevated, she just said, if you're not going ahead, can I give him a biscuit? And I said he might like a glass of water, a bowl of water, even more. But she gave him some gravy bones, and then he fell in love with her, didn't you? So yeah, it was quite a relief in a way. So I've had like several emotions from this. Anxiety, obviously, disappointment because it's not going to work, we can't do it. Relief because he doesn't need to be anaesthetised, doesn't have to have any recovery time or anything. Concern about the raised liver enzyme. Happiness that he doesn't actually have arthritis in that wrist, and that the way he holds his body weight isn't too terrible considering that wrist. So yeah, lots of emotions. And we haven't even done anything, just had a long drive, long road trip. So Kia's all good, he's his usual self. He's just got a slightly shaved patch on his leg from the blood work. We will schedule him to get the liver tests done to check that it's okay. If it is, there are things to do with the liver that can help, because the liver is the one organ that can regrow itself. If it's something more sinister, then we will deal with that when we get into that, but hopefully it's not. Hopefully you just had a fatty meal the night before, and that's the reason why it was elevated. She did say, she gave us a story about a client she had that knew that her dog needed to be anaesthetised the next day, so they wanted to treat the dog to a nice fatty meal of fish and chips the night before. So when they did the pre-anaesthetic blood test, it came back extremely high, so they couldn't do the treatment. The dog had to go away and have its liver tested, and it was just down to having had that fatty meal. There was nothing wrong with the liver, it was just the fish and chips that they'd given their dog before the night before. I didn't give him anything special because I knew he was going to be anaesthetised. I did make sure he had a nice pudding, which was a dental stick, one of his favourites, but his meal was wild boar, which could potentially have been more fatty. It's good to know that his kidneys are all good. Heart rate, pulse and everything's all fine. Fluff. She gave us recommendations on things we can do to make it easier on his wrist, like slightly raising his bowl off of the floor. I did question it because I've always heard that a raised dog bowl can cause bloat, but she said that it's so long as it's not above the level of the digestive tract, maybe? I'm not entirely sure how high, but she said literally the size, the height of a can of food. Oh, that's my stomach. So yeah, just literally like that kind of height to elevate his bowl, just so that he doesn't have to lower himself down to get food. So I'm going to make him a little table or something. I'm not sure yet. Going to do something to raise your bowl up. So my vlogging camera decided it was time to die. And I mean like probably I turn it on and it immediately closes and then says I need to turn it off. I don't know what's wrong with it. Maybe it's overheated, I don't know why. But that camera is currently out of action. What I was saying was the different things that she suggested I could do to help him. A harness for getting in and out of the car. The trouble with harnesses and key is anything that connects like just at the bottom of his neck makes him choke and cough. And harnesses I've tried before to kind of support him there, to lower his wrists, catches in his throat and makes him cough. So I've got to try and find a harness that's low enough on the front of the chest, but sort of hugs the legs in order to not slide down his body like the belly strap did when I tried to use that. As soon as his body's at this angle, the belly strap just went all the way up there, obviously because it's not got anything to hold on to the front of him. She also said to lose some weight. He's a little bit heavy at the moment with his walking duration reduced. He's not getting as much exercise. We have been doing quite a bit of walking on lead, so off lead walks are better for exercise but worse for his wrist because he can move around uncontrolled. But we were up there today so we could have a run around. So he's so knackered. So I have been reducing his biscuits, and what he's getting at the moment for filming this video will come out of his lunch. So yeah, he's getting smaller amounts of treats and smaller lunch. I can't really reduce his dinner because it's 500 grams of raw, so it's not easy to take a section out because each time I'll be left with a little lump in the box, and then it'll get slightly bigger lump and slightly bigger lump, and yeah, it's just not, I've tried to do it in the past and it's just not really convenient, so reducing his lunch is easier. Oh, you've fallen off, Key. Oh dear. Did you fall? Did you do it on purpose? Oh dear, Key. Look at you. It's a ramp for car. We have steps. He doesn't really get on with ramps. Foam bed. Yeah, she suggested a foam bed and I just said he doesn't do beds. He prefers the floor. The harder and the colder the floor, the better. Trim nails. Well, she also said that his nails don't really need trimming. But she said that if his nails do get a bit longer, to keep them trimmed because it can cause them to have less grip. But she said that his are fine. Laser therapy and raised food bowl and water bowl. Yeah, those are the things she suggested to help him with his wrist. Keeping up with his hydrotherapy, maybe some physiotherapy and weight loss. So you're on a diet, Monkey. You are already anyway, but we just need to do it a little bit quicker. So we can get him back down to 35 she wants. She said if he was a full husky, then she'd want him much lower than that, but he's a big boy, big chest. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found the video... Are you stuck? Are you stuck? You look like you couldn't get up. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found the video helpful. If your dog is in need of some kind of stem cell treatment, I mean, we haven't had experience with it, but I do recommend Stem Cell Vet. This is not in any way sponsored at all, but the people we saw were really helpful, really good with Key as well. He loved them all. Giving kisses, weren't you? Weren't too keen on the assessment of your joints, but at the end you were giving her kisses and talking to her. So they were all really, really nice in there, and you don't feel, even though we travelled 2 hours, didn't feel like we had to do the treatment. Oh, hello. Close-up time. Very close-up time. Hi. So yeah, they were really good in there. This is really close to me. I'm sorry. My voice is going to sound actually audible for a change. What do you want, Monkey? Do you want to cuddle? Oh, I was giving you a cuddle. Do you want to say anything to your audience? What do you want to say to them? You tell them you're all okay? Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was insightful. You're such a sweet boy. You're my baby. Anyway, we're going to end this video now.